introduced a lot of authors and artists in my lifetime here. This is hard. It's one thing to introduce somebody, it's another thing to talk about yourself. I can take empty space and call it a bare stage. A man walks across this empty space while someone else is watching him. And this is all that is needed for an act of theater to be engaged. And that's Sir Peter Brook, someone who I greatly admire. Okay, so true story. I was at Safeway a few days ago picking up some things, and this guy my age comes up to me, and we have this conversation. Hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in years, he said. Oh, I'm doing pretty good, same old, same old. How about you? And the conversation progressed through asking about our kids, our wives, our jobs. Until in passing, he said to me, I was really sorry to see you guys give up on Tacoma and move to Seattle. Except that I'm still in Tacoma. Oh, and I told him that. And he said, well, I didn't know that, Russell. And I said, Russell? Oh, don't you still work for them? Well, I've never worked for Russell. Wait a minute, you're not the Bob Simpson, right? We went to Stadium High School together. You dated my sister? No, I'm not. I never went to Stadium. I never worked for Russell. I never dated your sister. Oh, I thought you were. But I'm... And a long, awkward silence ensued. But the thing is, I might have known him. I clearly didn't, but possible. But I had no context in which to place the relationship. In which me did he know? Did he know me, who's Chris's dad? Or Kathy's husband? The me who's a son, a brother? Or me, the teacher? Or me, the library communications person? Or how about the me that creates theater, runs a gallery, or is a neighbor? Which me did he think he knew? Which me might have known him? See, explaining who I am and what defines me isn't that simple. But the one quality that all these me's have in common is that they are all, or I am, a storyteller. Sometimes I use my own words, sometimes not. As a father, my stories are filled with pride. My son is 30, owns a house in Washington, D.C., and has a terrific career at Discovery Television. I had to say that. I'm proud. As a husband, my stories are about a 32-year marriage to my college sweetheart, and are filled with words such as friendship, compromise, honesty, patience, understanding, and love. As a brother, my words are filled and colored with time, grief, and loss. In just a few days, actually, it'll be 20 years since I watched my twin brother die and slowly fade away with multiple myeloma. The pain is still there. It jumps out at me when I least expect it. Another image. A long, silent train ride home with my mom and dad after the funeral, the three of us lost within our own grief. Fathers should never be forced to bury their children. The images in my stories as our son are now dark. Memory does that. Waking up when I was 13 to discover I could no longer move. Paralyzed by Guillain-Barré syndrome. 1 in 7 million, a lottery I didn't really want to win. 6 months in an iron lung before I could move my toes again. My mom never leaving my hospital room. Many years later, my mom, fear of leaving the only home that she ever knew after my father's death. Another Christmas tragedy. Then our 12-year adventure begins together to keep her at home with a fragile support network stitched together 2,000 miles away with Band-Aid solutions. She could barely see or walk, but she was fiercely determined to stay at home until it was no longer possible. Then the pain for both of us when it was no longer possible. The last lucid moments during weeks of random mumblings about numbers, perhaps because she played bingo all her life. When she looked at me and said, no regrets. I love you. I know I will never see you again, so this is goodbye. And it was. I speak from the heart with my stories as a library communications person. I grew up with books, always reading. Libraries do change that. I truly believe it. I love what I do, and I'm blessed. I speak through other people's stories as a stage director. My responsibility is to make their words my own, to share their stories with you in a way that is uniquely mine. As a teacher, my stories are designed to inspire young actors to make strong choices, to take risks, to allow themselves to fail, and to discover their creative impulses. After all, acting, like life, is a series of conscious choices. I lived many lives on many empty stages, filling them with theater, with stories. It makes for a great and passionate ride, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you.